I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final. And even that was acceptable. I wonder how Emmy did. Even more so, how is she doing? She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of her wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down, and I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this, though? My musing is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. It's Muto. Hey, Hisao? Got a minute? I suppose I can spare a few minutes. Yeah, I've got some time, I tell him. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Muto raises an eyebrow as if questioning my statement, then beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you if I could, he said. I know that this course wasn't quite up to your level. Don't worry about it, I said. The science club activities more than made up for it. Did they? He said. Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that was a worthwhile activity, just for my own reference? Well, yeah, I say. It was a great way to go further than we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Muto seems delighted by my response. That's great, he says. Exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Hisao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, it makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid, too. You took to this stuff like a duck to water or some other such simile. Thanks, I say. You were a great help, especially with that college stuff. There's one more thing, Hisao. A bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that, I say. What does a scientist do, he asks. Observe the world around him, I answer. Exactly. Good. A simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. That's the essence of a scientist, Hisao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. But what if there's something you can't figure out, he asked. What's a scientist to do if he can't observe something? How, for example, can we talk about quarks when nobody has ever actually seen one? Or black holes when observing them directly is impossible? Well, I think scientific equipment's pretty advanced. Muto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think. If you can't observe something directly, then how can you observe it? Guess, I say. How, he says. How would you guess the movement of a quark? What is your guess based on? Of course. I should have thought of it earlier. The things it affects, I say. Muto claps his hands together excitedly and whoops. Yes, exactly. Good. Remember that, Hisao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth. And if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer, never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Hisao. Your job is to get it to make sense. If nothing else, I hope you've learned that here. I think I can remember that, I say. Muto smiles, satisfied. Good. Now go enjoy your time off. You've earned it. I leave the room feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, am I going about this thing with Emmy the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it some other way? The question keeps spinning in my head even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, won't that come off as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company. But, odd as it sounds, I really want to help her. I don't even know what with or if there's anything at all she needs help for. But I want to. Suddenly, a knock at my door rouses me. I open it to see Kenji. Oh, it's you, I say. It's me? That's it? If you had any idea what I've been through, what I've done, you'd be happy to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you're just acting like I went down to the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Hisao. I really respect that. Thanks, I guess. It's smart to play it safe, you know. Don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest until it's time to show your cards or you have bad cards. Then you should fold or collect your winnings. Do you understand? Yeah, that makes perfect sense, I say. I take it the mission went well? Whoa, awful nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. Things are at a delicate stage. One wrong move and bam, the invasion succeeds. I thought you were going to blow the conspiracy wide open. It's bigger than I thought. I need to update my charts. And probably change some of the puppets around. You want to help? I've got some whiskey from somewhere. You can fill me in on everything your investigation has turned up. Better not, I say. I'm, supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. Can't raise suspicion. Kenji nods in approval. Still keeping it close to the chest, eh? Okay, man, I respect that. Good luck. Thanks. I'm just going to pretend, for the sake of my own sanity, that he's wishing me luck in talking to Emmy. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Time to lay it all on the table. Or see if I can't Emmy to do so, rather. With some sense of something approaching purpose, I head for Emmy's room. I hop up the stairs leading to her room and knock on her door. Who's there? Huh, that's odd. Her voice sounds a little choked. Hey, it's me, I say. Thought I'd stop by. Hisao? Come on in. I reach down to open the door, only to find that it's locked. More and more curious. Your door's locked. Oh, yeah, sorry. Give me a minute. In a few minutes, Amy opens the door, grinning. Sorry, I had to put my legs on. I was napping, she says. Despite her grin, there's something definitely off. Emmy's eyes are slightly red, and it looks like she's been crying. Hey, no problem, I say. Are you okay? Huh? Yeah, I'm fine, she says. It's just that you look like you've been crying. Oh yeah, Hisao, you're off to a great start on this one. What? Nah, I'm fine, she says. I'm just happy to see you. She punctuates this with a long kiss that continues as the door slams shut behind us. I know what she wants to do now, and I'm also painfully aware of how badly I want to do it too, but I break the kiss with a wrench of self-control that nearly kills me. Hey, wait, I say. Emmy's eyes crinkle in confusion. Huh? Wait for what? We need to talk, I say. Isn't that supposed to be my line, she says. And never a good thing to say? She's got a point. It's usually the lead-in to a breakup, or the prelude to a fight. Maybe it can be a good thing this time, I say. That's the hope, anyway. She says. Can we at least get on to the bed? It's my first day back on these things, and I'm still readjusting. Plus, the nurse said I should try to be on them less often, since running put such a strain on them. Can't argue with that, I say. It's a trap, we both know it, and we both don't care. Then again, it's awfully hard to get angry while in bed with the object of your affection, so maybe there's that motivation too. I set Emmy's legs by the bedside and sit down next to her, throwing an arm around her shoulders. In silence, we just enjoy being able to be in this position again for a few minutes. Then, of course, I need to ruin it by opening my mouth. Look, I start. I know that you've been having kind of a rough time of it lately. And I want to help you out. I thought it was just exams getting to you, but now I come into your room and you've been crying and that kills me. But I can't do anything if you won't talk to me about it. I told you, I'm fine, she says. No, you aren't. It's obvious something's eating at you. You can tell me, you know. There's the slightest increase in tension in Emmy's voice. Why is my saying I'm fine not good enough? You're concerned. I get that. That's cool. But I'm fine, and it's nothing that you need to worry about. I answer her. Not sleeping and spacing out more than Ren doesn't strike me as being fine. I want to help. Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't like seeing you like this. I want you to be happy, you know? I get the feeling that came out wrong because Emmy fixes me with an icy stare. So, you want to fix me, Hisao? She's definitely getting angry now. Want to swoop in on your white charger and save the day? Stop the nightmares, the phantom limb pains? Restore what's lost? Her voice catches in her throat and the tears start to flow. Well, you can't. Nobody can. Nobody will. I'm so stunned by her sudden verbal assault that I remain quiet. Neither of us says anything for a while. I'm surprised that Emmy tightens her grip on me rather than pushing me away. After a deep breath, she starts talking again. Look, I'm sorry. There's these nightmares about the accident. Ah, the accident. I should have known. It took her legs, after all, but it never comes up, of course. She continues, and I usually deal with them fine because I can run. Running clears my head like nothing else. I don't have to worry about anything while I'm running. I just concentrate on breathing, on the rhythm of things. It's easier that way. Life's easier that way. Just keep moving forward, you know? Nothing else matters, just getting around the next curve. And then it's the next curve, and the next, until I can't go on anymore, or think anymore, or do anything but slow down and walk until I catch my breath again. After something like that, nothing else matters. But I've been stuck in that goddamn wheelchair for too long, so no outlet. Today it just kind of boiled over a little. You could have talked to me about it, you know, I tell her. You didn't have to go it alone. Emmy smiles sadly, like she's trying to explain to a child that all fire burns. Yeah, I did, she says, and I do. But why? Why do you have to keep going through this alone? Why can't you just trust me enough to let me help you? That smile again. Emmy leans in and kisses me on my cheek, an almost motherly gesture. She leaves her mouth close to my ear as she confesses this one thing to me. Because, Hisao, I've already had everything I knew ripped away from me once. I don't know what I'd do if it happened again. She pauses as if uncertain as to whether or not she should continue. I can feel a violent churning in my gut. She continues. So I can't rely on you, or the nurse, or anyone else. Just me. That's how it's got to be. Having delivered this short speech, she looks down and covers her mouth with the back of her hand. The conversation is clearly over. I search for something to say, but can't think of anything. Maybe I should go for now. I've got stuff. Emmy doesn't even look up. She sounds tired or relieved. I can't tell which. Okay, Hisao. Go take care of that stuff. I'll see you tomorrow. I get off the bed and head for the door, pausing at the doorway. Hey, Emmy. Yeah? 1,000 things I want to say. I'm too mixed up to say any of them, though. After her admitting that she'll never let me close, I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. What happened in that accident? I know she lost her legs, but that's never seemed to bother her. What happened there? What scares a girl so badly that she won't accept help even from someone she loves? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to know so badly that being denied the answer feels like a knife in my guts. Hisao? She asks again. You were saying? I'm still standing in the doorway. Nothing, I finally say. Never mind. And I'm closing the door. And walking down the hallway. Down the stairs. Out the door. Into the dark. Somehow I wander back to my own room. My brains are doing a mile a minute, going nowhere fast. I can't figure out how to deal with this. I thought that moving forward was a good thing. Dwelling less on a past that I can't change, living in the present and looking at the future. After this thing with Emmy, I'm not sure anymore. She was saying the truth. It's simpler to look at the next curve, ignoring the path gone by. No worry about the opponent left behind, no care for the spectators on the sidelines, and unfortunately, no time to watch out for lagging teammates either. I throw myself down on the bed, looking at one corner of my ceiling as if the answers I want were written there. No such luck, of course. She's literally running away from something, but have I not been doing the same thing, trying my best to forget about my hospitalization? I am getting better, but my health isn't going to magically fix itself. Emmy has 2 legs instead of a heart to deal with, but those aren't going to magically fix themselves either. Maybe this is just as fixed as the both of us can get. The room becomes darker and darker until I can't really tell I'm looking at a corner anymore. The morning comes too soon on the heels of a sleepless night. Is this how Emmy's been spending her nights? Staring at the wall or ceiling, trying to stop thinking about whatever it is? Her, in my case. That clenched feeling in my gut is still there. I can't rely on you. Words spoken so casually, almost like she were teasing me or chastising me for suggesting that the earth is flat. That's how it's got to be. The way it's got to be sucks. I'm feeling so miserable that I very nearly decide to skip the run. That would be stupid, though. It's not something I should do just to see her. Sure, that was the original reason, but it's something more now. I've started to enjoy the running itself. There are worse ways to get the blood flowing anyway. Never thought I'd say it after that first week or so, but I feel a lot better after a run. Like, no matter what else I do today, I've at least done that one thing. It wakes me up, too. And Emmy herself said that running always clears her mind. Maybe it'll help clear mine. I hope so. The morning is cool and clear, if a bit humid. Summer's making itself known, it seems. Emmy's already stretching out when I arrive and greets me with a smile and a wave. Hey, Hisao! The sight of her so chipper is like a kick in the nuts. How can she be so happy after yesterday? I give a half wave and am surprised to receive a hug. Hey, about last night, she says. Here it comes. I wanted to say thanks. I actually managed to get some sleep for the first time in a while, and I think it's because of our talk. So, thanks, she says. How could she sleep better after our chat? She basically told me that she wouldn't get any closer to me. And that let her sleep well? Excuse me, but what the hell? Emmy either doesn't notice my bafflement or chooses not to notice. No telling with her anymore. Oh, no problem. Glad it helped, I say. The venom that threatens to drip into my voice is controlled for now, but I think I'd better start running now before I do anything stupid. Emmy seems equally willing to get started, and before long we're darting around the track. I can tell she feels more relaxed. Her running has gone back to the more graceful movements I remember from when I first watched her. It's a stark contrast to the almost brutal way she's been hurling herself around the track these past few days. Our talk really does seem to have helped her. A pity it couldn't help me. I get into the rhythm of the running, thinking back to when I couldn't afford thinking about anything else but keeping my breathing steady and my legs moving. Guess those days are gone. At least for the first couple of laps. Annoyed at the lack of success I'm having with clearing my head, I increase the pace. Ah, there's the burning sensation in my legs. The breath's coming ragging in my chest, the pounding of my heart, which I still need to be careful about. But it does seem to have gotten stronger. I can feel it pumping blood through my veins. The sound thrums in my ears, but instead of being panicked as I was that day in the snow, I'm instead filled with elation. Yes, it's working. My heart, that fatal flaw that landed me here, has improved. I'm able to keep going now, and maybe one day I'll be able to stop worrying as much. Right now, it doesn't matter that I have no idea what to do about Emmy and me. All that matters is that my arms and legs continue to pump in concert with one another. Nothing else. As I hit the final stretch, I remind myself that running really does help, though not as much as I'd hoped. I do feel better, and as I walk a few laps to cool down, I begin to remember last night in a slightly less emotional manner. Emmy wants me to stay distant from her. I can't bring myself to do so. There's got to be a way around this, some kind of middle ground I can reach. Not sure what that middle ground is, though. Damn, I was almost feeling optimistic. Nice run, Hisao. You've really improved. Nice run. That's all I can hope for now, isn't it? Congratulations, Hisao. You're pathetic. I gotta change my attitude. Well, I say, I am pretty awesome. And yet I just keep saying things that I don't mean. Any second now, I'll be as good at hiding my problems as Emmy is. I like to think so, she says. Why does she do this to me? Say something like that with such real affection in her voice that it makes my heart leap. She doesn't mean it. She can't. I must be doing a worse job than I thought because Emmy peers closely at me. Hey, you feeling okay? She asked. Maybe we should get to the nurse, huh? Yeah, I'd hate to keel over on you, I say. Emmy looks a little shocked at my bitter tone. Don't say things like that. You've already done it once before, you know. Why does she act so affectionate? She doesn't really care. I thought she made that clear. But despite of that, I find myself apologizing, even though I shouldn't have to. Even though she's probably just putting on an act. Sorry. Yeah. Come on, let's go see the nurse. I can't get myself to calm down the whole time. Every time it feels like I've gotten over what happened last night, Emmy does something or says something that shows affection, and I'm back to the beginning. The image of her ending that conversation haunts me. It was like the final twist of the knife that left me feeling bereft of any hope that Emmy and I could be more than what we are. And what are we at this point? Little more than friends who happen to fuck. And really, it's not like I don't enjoy the time I spend with her. Said so the other day myself. I very nearly didn't even bring anything up with her. I was just gonna hop on in there and let it ride, wasn't I? With this running through my head, I find myself in front of the nurse's office, still brooding as he checks out Emmy. Emmy comes bounding out of the door, gives me a kiss, and darts off to the shower, I assume. Meanwhile, the nurse beckons me into his office to give me the ritual once-over. Any problems today, he says. Nah. I even pushed it a little harder today than I have in the past, and I seemed able to handle it. That's uncharacteristically risky coming from you, Hisao. You've been hanging out with Emmy too much. She's rubbed off on you, and not necessarily in a good way. At the mention of Emmy's name, I can't help but frown unhappily in spite of my efforts at control. Well now, the nurse continues, this is new, don't you think? Last I checked, your usual response to Emmy's name was a grin, not a frown. What exactly happened between you two? Because Emmy doesn't seem to be in on it, whatever it is. She looked more relaxed than I've seen her in weeks, which is unusual for this time of the year. What do you mean by that, I ask. By what, he says. For this time of the year. I keep trying to find out what's bothering her, but she clams up as soon as I broach the subject. Then, last night, she said, let me guess. She won't tell you because she says she can't trust you. And now you're crushed because you thought that the two of you were so much more than she seems to think, right? More or less, I reply. How the heck did you know? Hisao, I'm the nurse. It's my job to know these things. Plus, I've known Emmy for long enough to know that she'd try to do something like this. It's just like her. He says this in a sort of half-affectionate, half-frustrated tone that would seem more appropriate if he had a cigarette dangling from his lips. As it is, he seems willing to make do with a pen. Look, he says, you mind if I give you some advice? Sure, why not? What was it Muto said yesterday? If you can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it. Worth a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. Sure, I say, I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kind of lost. I've got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed, the nurse says. He grins while he says this. I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now, and if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, if she's decided that she doesn't want to talk about what happened, then she's not going to talk about what happened. Has she said anything about what's bothering her? Even a hint? I think. Well, she did say she's been having nightmares about the accident. Really? You're making progress then, he says. That's good. Well, I guess I can fill you in on this without violating my strict non-interference policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her accident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she lost. That's the other thing, I say. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? Whoa, nope, not going there, he says. You'll have to ask someone else about that, because that's a whole can of worms I'm not about to open. If Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You've just got to be patient, that's all. Why are you even helping me with all this, I ask. Because you're good for her. She trusts you, even if you don't think she does. And you've got the best chance out of anyone at this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So, don't screw it up. Got it? I open my mouth to respond, but a knocking sound at the door interrupts me. Hey, you guys still in there? Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. The door burst open and Emmy glares knives at the nurse. Asshole. Didn't mean to get your hopes up, he says. Hey, can we leave me out of this, I say. Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Forget something? I try to take a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her. Two can play the everything's fine game. Actually, I forgot to ask you something, she says. Oh, what's that? Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house, she says. My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us. Well, of course I accept, the nurse says. Emmy punches the nurse in the arm playfully. Not you, idiot. You were over last week. I was talking to Hisao. Oh, how interesting, he continues. Meeting the parent. I'd love to go, Emmy. Thanks, I tell her. The nurse raises an eyebrow, but says nothing. Great, she says. I'll be in my room. Swing by after you shower and change into something clean, and we'll grab the bus. Sounds good, I say. I'll see you in a bit. This time it's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we're getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Or maybe she's just being polite and a free meal seems like a good way to apologize for last night. Great. Now I can't decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I settle for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. Oof, a lot of emotional stuff going on there, and a lot of stuff that I've seen before in my own relationships in the past, where you get there and you get the people that are just trying to push you away, and no matter how close you're trying to get, they want to deal with their stuff on their own. And as Nurse says, she is very stubborn. Right, couple of important, well, one very important decision here. When Muto comes up to us and starts talking to us, if he can speak to us in private. This is the second conversation we've had with Muto that has set a flag that has determined the events to follow. Um, Remember, the previous one is when he was talking about taking our exercise seriously. If we said maybe, we would not go on the Emmy path because we wouldn't go out and exercise. If we said yeah and promised he would, we would have the chance to go on the Emmy path because we would go and show up at the track that morning, all those many episodes ago. This is very similar. If we can spare a few minutes with him, we go in and we talk about the scientific method and how we figure things out by that we can't directly observe by seeing what's going on around them. This plants the seed in our head that if Emmy won't tell us what it is that's bothering her, that maybe we can find out by observing the people and talking to people around her and taking their advice. Which leads us to the second choice in this particular episode, which is to whether or not we accept the advice of Nurse and how we should continue along and try and find out what's going on with Emmy. If we had not talked to Muto, if we had been too busy back there to talk to him and to have him give us his advice about the scientific method, we would not have ever even received this particular choice here. We would have just skipped right on past it. So we've been invited home to meet her mother, and we will see what happens in the next episode. I'm also wondering, just to point out there, if everyone caught that little thing where where the nurse says, "Sure, I'll come to dinner," and she says, "Oh, you asshole, you came last week." Once again, there's always clues about stuff going on in the background with some of the secondary characters there. So we'll see what happens next time.